Hello, greetings, everybody. Welcome to Wolford Weekly and my live character ranking video of 2022. Oh, this is exciting, isn't it? Right, first of all, can everybody hear me, please? If you can tell me that you can hear me. Oh dear, it's all going marvellously already. Yes, can you tell me if you can hear me? And then we shall begin the ranking. I can see all your comments. Hello, Keta Queen. Hello, Ellis Assassin. Hello, Rachel Roberts. Hello, Wilsey. Hello, Dan Wilson. Hello, Alex Osborne. Yes, now, when mine is the right tier list, so no need for this nonsense. Yes, well, you would say that, Alex. I will say that Alex is currently lying down in a cold room, in a dark room with a cold compress on his head, because helping me set this up has been quite the time, let me tell you that. Yes, and the crash, yes, thank you. Right, marvellous, you can hear me. So should we begin? Right, this is where it all goes horrifically wrong, so do bear with me a moment. So while I do a bit of screen sharing, and hopefully that will begin, and add to stream, there we go, and we are in, should be. Wait for that to catch up on the video so that I know what I'm doing. I'm a little blurred, yes, well, let me see if I can do anything about that. There we go. That should be the sharing. Yes, we are there. So then, here we go. Now listen. So as Alex has probably done, if you've seen Alex's video, then it is available on the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that yet, give that a click. But watch mine first, obviously, because mine is the correct list. Alex, does his version. But this is the right way to do it. So let's have a look at these rankings first of all. We have Julia's theme, which is the crop of the crop, the creme de la creme of characters. I have no notes for you. You are perfect. Keep doing what you're doing. Mwah. And then we go down to Keeble's plan, which, if you've been following recent EastEnders, is a good plan. There's a few little flaws in it here and there, but it's, it's getting there. Sausage Surprise, which is the next one down, which, is some people enjoy a sausage surprise. Some people aren't so fond of it, but, it's sausage surprise is third on the list. Not bad, not a bad meal to have in front of you, but, could be better. Cheese and pickle sandwich, which, as Sharon once famously said, is basic. Meh. Meh. And then right down to Alfie's Panto, which I feel, if you have seen anything over Christmas, requires no explanation whatsoever. That is Alfie's Panto, just meh. If you find yourself in that list, then do better. What are you doing? Sort yourself out, honestly, for goodness sake. And then right at the bottom there, you've got Better Luck Next Year. Now, that's obviously for characters that haven't really done a huge amount in 2022. They deserve their time in the spotlight, and hopefully this coming year will be the beginning of a whole new chapter and era for them. So there we are then. Love to see you all here. Hello, Lee Burton. Hello, Ben Andrews. Yes, HD realness. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Hello, Gemma Archer. Hello. Right, let's go. Right. So first of all on the list is Mick Carter. Now, obviously, Mick left this Christmas, in quite dramatic fashion. Overall, I would say Mick will be missed. Mick was a huge presence on the square. He's never been like my favourite character of all time, but I think he left in a very emotional way, very dramatic way, and like I say, he will be greatly missed. The show has got a huge gap missing out of it now that Mick's not there. But I'm going to stick Mick in Keeble's plan. I think that's a fairly fair assessment of him. But Danny Dyer has been fantastic, and yeah, will be greatly missed. So rest in peace, Mick, or happy sailing, whatever you're doing at the moment, floating through the Pacific Ocean somewhere. Who knows? Ben. Now then, Ben. Now let me tell you now about Ben, okay? There are times this year when I will have happily thrown Ben in a panto and made no arguments about it, all right? He's a very but in recent weeks, he's sort of gone down to a slightly more bearable. Let me say, nothing to do with Max Bowden's performance whatsoever, but I think Ben has had some commenting applied to him, which has made him a little bit difficult to watch sometimes. However, Ben is obviously a huge character on the square. He has a big role within the show. I'm going to put him in. I mean, I don't really think I can ever really apply the word meh to Ben Mitchell. But sausage surprise? I think I'm going to put him in cheese and pickle sandwich. I'm sorry, Ben fans. All right. I hope that Ben has a 2023 that scroll up. Do you say? Oh yes, there we go. Then let's do that. Yeah, we knew this was going to go wrong eventually, didn't we? There. There we go. All right, Denise. Now, Denise started off very quietly, considering that she got married last year, which even allowed to see her and see Denise's marriage. And through most of 2022, she didn't have that big a year. It's only in recent sort of weeks that her and Jack have really started to step back into the spotlight again. And yeah, you know, she's starting to come into her own again. I'm going to stick her in Sausage Surprise, I think, purely because she hasn't had a huge year. But I think in the coming months, Denise and Jack are going to have their time because they are. There's rumours that the story coming their way, and obviously everything that's going on with Amy at the moment is great stuff for Denise. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Kimberly Fox, my dear. Now let me talk about Kim for a second because I was going to stick her there while I rant. She has had a interesting year, has Kim, because this whole thing with Foxcatcher and you know the live streaming and being an influencer and all that malarkey. All right, there were times where Kim was quite irritating. I'll be honest. Like there were times when she's walked into a scene and she has, well, she's sort of just not really made the scene that helpful. I would argue. She has just sort of kind of been a downer on the scene. But again, in recent weeks, she's kind of been her funny self again. So I think next to her sister in Sausage Surprise is the fairest place to put Kim. She works extremely well as a comedy character. She is obviously great in dramatic stories, but she doesn't tend to get all that often. Why aren't my things scrolling up? I have scrolled it up and I'm not seeing a huge amount of movement on the screen. So I apologize if you can't really see a huge amount. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best from what I've got here. But oh, I don't know. Hopefully this will fix itself in a moment. But I am moving things. I promise I am. Right, so Karen is next. See now, Karen is greatly irritating to me a lot of the time. I won't lie to you. Karen works best, in my opinion, when she is being a mother and when she is kind of the fierce lioness that she has been with the Taylor kids in the past. What doesn't work for me with Kim is when she is with Karen rather, is when she's just being gross. You know, when she's talking about feet and farting and burping and filling her face full of really kind of sloppy sandwiches and all that kind of thing, where she's basically just a white D imitation. That sign of Karen I find really irritating. I struggle with, but when she is being lioness mother Karen, it's better. So, cheese and pickle sandwich, I think, for Karen at the moment. I do feel hopefully that with Keanu back, she will have a better year. And that might bring her back into sort of mother mode again when she's fierce. And to be fair, there's moments when Karen is one of the best mothers Wolford's ever seen, isn't it? Because she is just so fiercely protective of their kids and she'll take on anyone and she's not bothered. So hopefully more of that sort of strong side to Karen will be evident in the coming year. I have no idea why you're not seeing any scrolling up and down because I am doing it. I promise you. So hopefully this will be all fixed on the video. Nancy. I was kind of gutted Nancy left when she did, to be honest, because it felt like she was only just getting started. And her return story, you know, she sort of came back and there was a big thing made of the fact that she didn't want to have kids, and that never really went anywhere. And then she got with Zach and they did the whole thing with the restaurant. That was nice. And then she just sort of left. So it was kind of like there was starting to build Nancy up and then she kind of just fizzled away again, which was a shame. Whether we're going to see Nancy again, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is with the Carter kids, you know, dealing with a Mick's funeral or anything like that. But hopefully we'll see the Carter kids again. And Nancy will be able to kind of have a bigger impact than she did before. So yeah, I kind of feel that cheese and pickle sandwich for Nancy really because she kind of didn't do a huge amount when she was back there. Yeah, I think I'll leave her there for now. It won't fix itself. I know in the multiverse. I don't know what's going on. Alex, this is where you step in. Maybe try coming out and in again. I'm straight. I'm gay. Coming out and in again. All right, we'll try that. Right, so bear with me, people. I apologise for this messiness. Blame Alex. He taught me how to do it. Oh dear. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Let's do that, and then we shall do that. Where are we up to? It's not. It's not scrolling, is it? I don't know. Oh, sorry, you're behind me. Just wait to catch up. See what some of the comment section is. Yeah, everybody's basically telling me that they can't see it, so that's great. Oh, I think we've got some movement now. There we go. Marvelous. There we are. Fabulous. There we are. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me know, please, well, if there's any issues going on, but I think that seems to be working now, so that's good. Right, as we were, Jean. Now, didn't Jean have a busy old year? Obviously, at the start of was it 2022 when she was going through the cancer? I think it was, wasn't it? And then sort of halfway through the year was kind of cured of it. And since then, she's not had a huge story apart from when she had her mental health breakdown with the bipolar, which was great. Gillian Wright played a blinder. I'm just making sure now that it's working. My heart rate's returning to normal. And obviously she had her bipolar episode, which I thought she played brilliantly. And Jean is a great character, and I love her and Stacey together. I think they're such an amazing pairing. And I'm glad that Jean is sort of having this role in Lily's story at the moment. She plays that brilliantly. And I think I'm going to have to stick Jean all the way up in Keeble's Plan because I love Jean and she's great and the Slaters are all fantastic at the moment. I'm even wondering if Keeble's Plan is too low for Jean, but I think I'll leave her there for now. I might come back to her later, but I think Keeble's Plan is a fair place for. Well done, Rob. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you. Hey, technology won't beat me. Yes. Zach. Yum. I love you. Now then, shallowness aside, I'm not as shallow as Alex. All right. Obviously, he fancied Kirat and had a huge amount of love and adoration for him. But I'm not, and stuck him straight in Julia's theme purely for that. And I'm not going to do that, listeners and viewers. I'm not as shallow as Alex. Zach is having a huge story this year. It was announced today, which proves that I'm live, if you didn't need enough proof already. A huge story announced for Zach today, which if you don't want spoiled, then try and keep away from online stuff. But a big story was announced for Zach this evening. So his year is going to be this year, which I think James Farrell will absolutely knock out of the park. But I will stick Zach for now in Keeble's Plan. I have a feeling this time next year he will be in Julia's theme because huge stuff coming for Zach. So that's exciting. But I love Zach. He's a great community character. He's slotted in so well. And he's one of those characters that really kind of can go anywhere and fit in with any sort of group of characters. He works really well with Martin. I mean, he did come in as sort of the Cush replacement, but fortunately, he really, really works in that role. So that's lovely. And sort of any scenes that he has with Whitney and the Slaters, anybody, he's just a great, easily utilized character. So yeah, I love Zach. He's great. Suki, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first entrance of Julia's theme. Up she goes, where she belongs. Suki's fantastic, isn't she? I mean, honestly, the show hit gold when they found Balvinda Sopal because Suki is such a fascinating, layered, complex character who I absolutely adore watching, and she is the Suki, and how she makes me feel whenever she appears on screen is why Julia's theme exists as a category, because I'm excited when Suki appears. I know I'm going to get a good scene. I know I'm going to get a really nice, subtle performance from Balvinda Sopal, and there's so much more to come for the Panda Stars this year. The fact that Chris Clenshaw has come in and really built them up and really given us this huge story with lots of sort of ticking time bomb elements to it, it's great. And Suki is just a fantastic, fantastic character. So yeah, there she goes, and long may she remain. Frankie. Now again, was gutted when Frankie left. Frankie's stories were sort of very self-contained, I thought, in a lot of ways. She had a lovely relationship with, she had a lovely relationship with Nancy. I really enjoyed that. And she was getting to be good friends with Lola, but that was just before she left. She had some good moments, and obviously Frankie is amazing. And Rose Ayling is amazing. And good luck to all that she will do in her career, because I very much doubt if we're ever going to see Frankie again. Keeble's Plan, I think. I love Frankie. I think she's fantastic. But I think that her stories were just that little bit too self-contained for her to be kind of a massively Julia's themey type all-rounder. So, yeah, Keeble's Plan for Frankie. Isaac. I mean, what is there to say? what is there to say about Isaac? His schizophrenia storyline was good, but he was clearly a character that was brought in for that and that alone. And once that story was done, they had no clue what to do with him. So he was quickly sort of booted out and left. The only thing I really say about Isaac, apart from his schizophrenia storyline, was the fact that his character was the making of Lola. I think Lola really kind of exploded in personality and character and warmth when Isaac was around. And so he's kind of put Lola on the track that she's on now in terms of a really good character. But other than that, I don't think anyone's going to miss Isaac, really. He kind of came, did his thing, and left again. So into the panto, I'm afraid, my good friend. Good luck to win, but yeah, no. Sharon, the Queen of Queens. Sharon has had a much better year. Much better year. I mean, can you believe it? We were talking. It doesn't even feel that long ago that we were talking about her poisoning carbonara and trying to murder her best friend, and just being not Sharon in any way. The one issue I have with Sharon at the moment is the fact that she's still so hung up on Phil, and she is just refusing to consider any stretch where Phil could be in any way responsible for Denny's death. But other than that, Sharon's had a much better year. I love her the Zach and Sharon sort of dynamic. That's great. And she's been great with Linda. I hope her and Linda have many more scenes together when Linda comes back. But yeah, Sharon's massively improved. So, I'm pretty sure last year I had Sharon down in like the cheese and pickle sandwich area. So she's flown up the rankings, and that's where she belongs because she's an iconic character. Letitia Dean is amazing. She looks gorgeous. She's fabulous, and we love Sharon. So there she will remain. Chelsea. Chelsea. A bit of a quieter second half of the year. Obviously, she was quite instrumental during the Grey story, in which she shone. Well, it was one of the shining lights of that story. A bit quieter at the moment, but I love Chelsea. I think she's a good actress, great character. So I think stick her with the Foxes and Sausage Surprise for now. She, I think, will build up again next year. I have a feeling that this story with Zach is going to really sort of kind of bring in that sector. The Felix, Whitney, Zach, and Chelsea can all sort of do their thing. But Chelsea's great, and she's turned into a really good community character as well. So yeah, Sausage Surprise. Lola. I mean, Lola's had an amazing year in terms of her character. It's a sad story that she's going through at the moment, and it's so frustrating that she's going to obviously die at the end of this story because Danielle Harold, hello, welcome to the stage. God, you're good, aren't you? And it feels like Lola's never been given this opportunity to have this big a storyline before and to have this moment where she can really show what she can do. But she's going to be great. And I tell you what, this story is going to be heartbreaking when it reaches its conclusion. It really, really is. So yeah, nothing bad to say about Lola. She's knocking this out of the park. I might even knock her up to Julie's team, because I think this story is going to be amazing and she's doing incredibly. There's been some really beautiful moments with Lola so far, and I feel like there's much more to come. So yeah, go on then. You sit there next to Suki, girl. Go on, girl. Jack. Now, again, Jack has been a quiet character up until the second half of the year when suddenly everything that's gone on with Amy has kind of pushed him forward again. But other than that, Jack was doing literally nothing apart from sort of walking around and telling people that the CCTV wasn't working, and that was sort of Jack's role within life. He is getting better. I don't know if... It's not that I dislike Jack. It's just that for a long time, Jack was doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, have you noticed, like, he's had duffs coming out of his ears recently. Sausage Surprise feels generous for Jack, to be honest. But I think that I'll leave him there because he's getting better and I think he'll improve. So, yeah, Sausage Surprise, I think. Keegan. How are we doing, guys? Are we all happy? Yeah, everything's fine. Marvellous. Keegan. Do you know what I have to say? Keegan... And this is going to sound really weird considering the fact that someone like Bernie is barely ever on screen. But I have to say, Keegan, apart from when he was with Tiff, Keegan was sort of the kid that I was the least interested in the Taylors. Is that bad? Is that bad to say? I mean, he was great. Don't get me wrong. When Keegan first came in, all those many years ago, I despised him because he was written that way. He was a horrible person. Then he sort of got better. And his relationship with Tiff was really great, really sweet to watch. But then he's kind of gone again. So it's a shame that he's gone, and hopefully the Taylors will be all right without him. I think they're going to be fine now Keanu's back. But yeah, I think, Jesus Pickle, do I want to put him there? Or do I want to stick him in Sausage Surprise? Yeah, no, I'll leave him with cheese and pickle. I'd like Keegan, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't the most exciting character to me. I did kind of feel meh with Keegan. Nothing to do with Zach Morris. I just felt that the way Keegan was written, not so much towards the end of his tenure, but a lot of the time, I just thought the character felt a bit flat to me. So, but I like him. He's all right, and maybe we'll be back, and all will be well. Callum. Now, this is the problem, isn't it? Because Callum and Ben are two characters that sends the internet aflame, don't they? The Ballum fans, they love their Ballum. The thing is, with me, I have to say, Callum and Ben are two completely different characters, as they should be. But the difference is, Ben is the son of Phil Mitchell. He is a Mitchell, and he is able to have all sorts of Mitchell-y type stories, and they can throw anything at Ben, and often do, and certainly have this year. And he can kind of do his thing. Whereas Callum seems to have just faded. I'm not leaving him there. Don't worry, Callum fans. Sort of just faded into the background, done nothing, and has no other character to him at the moment apart from just being Ben's husband. And that's about it. He hasn't got anything that makes him you couldn't look at Callum and think like, oh, well, Callum could do that storyline. Like, he hasn't even been involved in anything regarding Mick's departure. We haven't seen a moment of recognition or emotion from Callum that Mick's gone. He's just not doing anything at the moment. What I would like to see with Callum, this is why I'm going to stick him in Better Luck next year, his first in that category, is that I want to see him develop his own personality, have his own stories away from sort of Ballum. I want to just sort of be and just sort of be a happy, normal couple, and it's something that I feel like I can relate to a little bit more, rather than just the constant angst that they were kind of wrapped with over the past year and a half. Let them just be happy. Let them do and let Callum have some of his own storylines, and let him be his own person, and just build him up a little bit more, as opposed to just being Ben's husband, which is all he is at the moment. Now, you could argue that Mitchell men's partners have all fallen into that category at some points in their lives. The Mitchell men are quite overbearing, and that does tend to rub off on their partner. But yeah, Callum desperately needs some attention, I think, as a character. So hopefully this year he will get that. Where are we up to? Joanne Smith, I'm looking forward to Fabrizio coming in. Well, I'm sure he's around somewhere. Jack just walks around in his long camel-coloured coat. Yeah, he does do that. Yeah. Joanne Smith says, I'm really enjoying EastEnders at the moment. Isn't it good? Clenners is, I believe in Clenners. Why is Mick not in Julia's theme? Well, you did. What's your name? Digilius. How do you pronounce that? Digilius. Well, you are welcome to do your own list and stick him straight in there as number one. I think Mick's a great character, but he didn't fill me full of the excitement of some other people. Dottie. Oh, now Dottie's a shame. I think Dottie had such potential. I thought when she first came in, I thought Millie Zero was great, and there was a multi-layered character there, ready to explore, ready to scratch away at, and it seems like we didn't really do it. The most exciting thing Dottie did in recent months was sort of try and burn Dot's house down with vodka, and that doesn't seem fair, really. And obviously, she did that whole money thing with Harvey. It just seemed like she was a confused little girl who was constantly trying to meet with approval, but it's like we never really explored the psyche of Dottie. When you've got a character who was the son of Nick Cotton, the daughter of Nick Cotton, you'd like to think that she can have something about her in terms of the stories that she can bring, the personality that she can bring. I want to see her reaction to people's opinions on Nick, how she has to kind of prove herself through "I'm not my dad," do all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's a shame that Dottie kind of went the way she did. So I hope she's back one day and proves herself and has a better time of it. But I think cheese and pickle for Dottie, which is not where I want to put her, because like I say, I thought Millie Zero was excellent, and really kind of put her all into that role. And I don't think that she was given enough stories to sort of really do anything with it, which is a shame. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put her for now, I think. Wish the list would include more of the kids like Lily and Tommy. Yes, in the multiverse. Well, the rule is with the list that if they're 17 years and up, then they're allowed in the list. That's the thing. I didn't do it. Alex did it. I think it's sensible. And the kids are really coming into play, aren't they? Like, honestly, what kids we've got on the square at the moment. I've said it on the podcast, but I am struggling to think of a better represented group of kids in soap that I've seen with this lot this year. Like, honestly, they're great. They're fantastic. Kirat. Now then, Kierat left way too soon. I think it was his exit was mad, wasn't it? Like EastEnders sort of had to tell us that that was his exit, and they wished him luck for the future. And it's kind of like, what? What do you mean? He's right. It felt like he was right in the middle of a story, and then sort of left again, which kind of suggests that I don't know, maybe something went on behind the scenes, or maybe Jazz decided, right, I'm done, bye, and then sort of left. But his exit felt unsatisfying, which makes me think that he's going to be back at some point because there's still very much a place for Geralt on the square, and I think he was just starting to get really interesting. His relationship with Stacey I was enjoying. So yeah, I'd like him to return, please. I'm going to stick him in Sausage Surprise. Um, and his role within the new Panasar story was getting really interesting. I was enjoying that. So I hope he's back soon because yeah, he's needed. I think Patrick. I have such a soft spot for Patrick. I love Patrick. I am loving his relationship with Denzel at the moment. Isn't that great? Like that kind of grandfather young lad kind of relationship that we don't often see on the show. And they've clearly got a real load of respect and adoration for each other. I love him sort of taking Denzel under his wing and trying to teach him how to chat up girls. And when Denzel's old enough, or maybe when he's just a little bit underage, Patrick will kind of give him a few swigs of rum or something like that. I love that. I love all that. I've got a huge soft spot for Patrick. He's a great character. He was playing with Patrick, and good for you, sir. You rock your hat. Love Patrick. Love him. Billy Mitchell. Welcome to the surprise of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Like, who would have thunk that Billy Mitchell, of all characters, was all of a sudden going to be welcomed into a new, busy new era? After Billy had had years, I mean years, of, what does Alex say there? I'm sorry, such a surprise for Kierat, you're cancelled. You can't cancel me. Alex cancelling me. Sausage Surprise is not good enough for Billy, I don't think, at the minute, actually. How mad is that? People's Plan, maybe? He's got a busy year. He's got so much going on. And Perry Fenwick's been great, hasn't he? Billy has got real potential at the moment to be a real kind of shining star of the show, which, again, you didn't think was coming. All of a sudden, he's got storylines coming out of his ears. He's got this whole thing going on with Freddie, which is still to be explored. It's just come down from the murder thing in tonight's episode. So that's still to come. The Lola stuff he's going to be heavily involved with. Like, you go, Billy. Keep us plan. Yeah, you stay there, mate. Good for you. Bobby. Bobby. Now, there was a time where I would have put Bobby straight into Julia's theme. And I love Bobby. And I think Clay is incredible in the role. Bobby's had a very, very quiet, good few months. I do like Bobby a lot. And I think he's a good character. He's a great community character. I like him sort of just flitting in between the calf and the fish and chip shop and doing his thing, and his relationship with Kathy. His relationship with Freddie's quite nice, but he's not really doing a huge amount for a while. Sausage Surprise for now. I really want Bobby to have a big storyline coming his way because the actor playing Bobby is great, isn't he? Like, he's just fantastic. In the multiverse, will anyone be watching The Apprentice tonight? Not if you're watching me, you won't be. You're fired. Joanne Smith, my theory is Denzel is the father of Lily's baby. That will have a huge impact on Amy and she will self-harm too much and then Lily will suffer. I mean, Joanne just predicts nothing but doom and gloom and misery for everybody on Albert Square. There we go. So yes, Bobby, Sausage Surprise. There you go. Hopefully you have a better year because we love Bobby. Martin. Now Martin is a fantastic community character. Hasn't had a very big year. He's sort of reactionary, I think, Martin, this year. He's great. I love him. Better luck next year, I think, for Martin. I great character. Hasn't done a huge amount this year. I think he will, again, with the Lily storyline, he's going to kind of come forward and do his thing and be kind of an angry dad, I suspect. But better luck next year for Martin. Yeah, I think so. At the very least, thank goodness, praise the Lord that we are away from Dark Martin. Dark Martin is a thing of the past and will never be brought up again. All right? Let's just forget about that. Pretend that never happened. Dark Martin is gone, and lovely jubbly Martin on his fruit stall is here to stay. Oh dear, Peter Beale. Boom, in you go. I mean, it didn't work, did it? It didn't work. I mean, Peter was just a frustrating character. Because, and the thing is with Peter, he should be a much better character because he's the son of Ian Beale. And there is so much history within the Beales and so much anger and so much resentment within the Beales. And I just think that I don't know what happened with this iteration of Peter. It just nothing seemed to work. He was this kind of frustrating character. He was an annoying character, and it just didn't work. Which was a real shame. I suspect that one day Peter will be back, possibly with another new head, and he will come back and sort of do his thing. The one thing that Peter had, which was really interesting, which literally established in his final 2 episodes, was that they were starting to sort of establish the Phil and Ian type rivalry with him and Ben. And I would quite like to have seen that explored and sort of looked at and done and done that, but we didn't even get that. So yeah, sorry, Peter, you're in the panto with Isaac. What a boring cast that would be in a panto. Christ alive. Sonia. Sonia's having a much better year. She is still sort of holding her own as a community character and one of the best community characters on the show, I think. Reese is going to be a really kind of nice injection for her. She was sensational during Dot's funeral week. I thought she was great there. Sausage Surprise, I think. I mean, I know it's contradictory considering what I've said about other characters who are lower down who haven't done that much, but I love Sonia. I think Natalie Cassidy is incredible. She deserves a huge story, and hopefully Reese will be the thing that injects some life into the character. At least she's not on night shifts anymore. She can sleep at night and work during the day, and all will be well. And Sonia won't be hollering out of windows telling people to shut up because she's trying to sleep. That's not what you want in life, is it? Rainey, much you be missed, my girl. It was a shame when Rainey left. She's great. She's an amazing character. Tanya Franks is awesome. And I'm gutted she's gone. What would you do? What would you do? Would you put Tanya in Sausage Surprise or Keeble's Plan? Let me know. What would you do? I think I might put her in Sausage Surprise. I mean, I love Rainey. I do love Rainey, but I think that she, without Stuart, her time's done. I think her story felt nice and complete by the time that she left. She had her man, she had her kid, and all was well. And then off she went in a hearse. Why wouldn't you want to do that? She's great. I love Tanya. Yeah, great character. And same with Stuart. I mean, Stuart and Rainey, these should be together. I was very, very, very surprised that Stuart got axed. But then you sort of look at the direction the show has gone in since then. You sort of think, well, all right, it can cope without him. And again, he had a perfectly happy ending. I mean, who would have thought when Stuart first came in and we had that literally unhinged human being, that he would grow into quite a lovable sort of character that was quite happy to kind of mill around the community and just be a nice bloke, and then occasional outbursts. But they both of them have had a happy ending together. I wish them both well. I'd like to see them both again. I feel like, seeing as though Stuart wasn't really at Dot's funeral, because him and Dot, he was quite fond of Dot. So I feel like if he's not there, we're not going to see him again, certainly in this era. So if we don't see him again, Ricky Champ was a fantastic actor and played Stuart amazingly. So good luck to him, I say. Honey. Now, Honey kind of flips and flops for me. I do love Honey to pieces at times, and then other times I'm sort of just like, oh, what are you doing, Honey? Like, what's the plan here? Prime example is tonight's episode where she kind of went head to toe with Phil and isn't scared of Phil, and I very much doubt Phil's scared of her. But when she will shout at Phil and tell him, like, no, this isn't acceptable, you're wrong, and I'm going to defend myself. I love Honey when she's in that mode. Her monopropisms can be funny sometimes, and other times you sort of just kind of go, right, yeah, okay. Do I stick her in Sausage Surprise? I think I will put her there for now. She does more harm. She does more good than harm, and she'll be great. And I'm glad that she's back with Billy, actually, because I think that they work together. Yeah, they do work together, and I think she's going to be really instrumental in kind of helping Billy and Jay through the Lola storyline. So she's going to be important moving forward. I liked her stuff with Suki. I don't think those two are really going to speak too much together anymore. But yeah, Honey's great. We like Honey. And as for Jay, my dear man, I have to say, Jay will always go in Julia's theme for me because he's one of my favourite characters. I adore Jay. I really do. I think Jamie Bothrick's amazing. And Jay is such a nice bloke. And you need someone like Jay in a show like EastEnders, don't you? He has these periods where he doesn't do anything for months and months and months, and then he'll get a big story. And that's what we're currently in at the moment. And he is just a shining star in this Lola story, and he will be fantastic. And he's just great. I love him. And when Lola's gone, I guarantee this guy is going to have our eyes wet. I'm telling you, you will sob. You will sob because he's fantastic. Bernie, see, we said to Bernie, I know exactly where I put Bernie last year, and that was there. and she hasn't budged an inch since then. She's had a very quiet year, quite 2 years now, I guess. Could someone do something with Bernie, please? Because she is good. She can do stuff. We've seen the little glimpses of things that Bernie can do, and she's not doing anything. Give her something to do, please, Clenners. She's great. Again, now Keanu's back. Maybe the Taylors will kind of get to do a bit more as a unit, and Bernie will be able to step forward and sort of, have a love life, or have a storyline, or have dialogue, or anything like that. That would be nice. Thank you. Mitch. With Mitch, I loved his involvement in the Grey storyline towards the end. I thought he was great in that. I really enjoy the trio of Harvey, Rocky, and Mitch. I think they work quite well together. But other than that, Mitch isn't setting the world alight for me at the moment, so I think I might stick him in the cheese and pickle sandwich. And yeah, I think he's all right there. I think you can. Yeah, we'll leave him in cheese and pickle sandwich. Mitch is all right. We got on with Mitch, but other than that, I mean, the thing is, when Felix and Finley came in, that was supposed to be the start of a new era for Mitch, and they barely have any scenes together these days. So I don't really know what the plan is, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. Shirley, I'm so gutted. Shirley's gone, and with Lady Di, she stole a dog. Shirley stole Linda Carter's dog and just walked off into the night and never then be seen again. Shirley is a real stalwart of the square. 16 years, I think she was in it. And God, she was good. I think that I don't know if we're going to see Shirley again or not, but she always elevated any scene that she was in. Even if it was involving her just kind of leaning against the bar, sipping on a glass of vodka and throwing some catty comment out, she was great, So I hope that we get to see Shirley again, because Linda Henry deserves all the awards because she's great. And I mean, for Christ's sake, what a year Shirley's had. Nothing but devastation this year. First losing Tina and then losing Mick. Poor woman. Honestly, she doesn't deserve that. But yeah, maybe even Keeble's plan. Keeble's plan. Yeah, stick her up there with Mick. There you go. You go there, Shirley. Yeah, okay. Rocky, again with Mitch, I think. The thing is with Rocky, I like Rocky. I do like him. I do like the fact that him and Alfie don't like each other. I hope they really build on that, because that is funny. Now Dottie's gone. Him and Sonia don't speak that much, so that sort of link has sort of disappeared. And his only real link now is Kathy. So, I mean, yeah, he's working as a community character. I kind of like him there, but I'm wondering where he goes from here. Like I say, Mitch, him and Harvey are a nice little trio together, so maybe they can sort of build on that. I think cheese and pickle sandwich for now, although I do like him, but hopefully he gets something to do this year, because that would be nice. Phil, now the number of arguments me and Alex have about Phil, honestly, he causes more trouble off screen than he does on screen, honestly. But Phil is one of my favourite characters, I have to say. He is an important character, I think. I'm not going to stick him in Julia's theme, but to me, he is a very important character. I don't think there are many characters that you could have done the flashback episode with, and it would have had that impact, And the Mitchells are just an iconic TV name, and I think Phil does his thing. And the difference between me and Alex is that Alex kind of looks at Phil and goes, "That's a tired character." I want to see him going in a different direction. Whereas I'm sort of like, I don't mind the gangstery stuff with Phil. And I kind of find his relationships with people fascinating. I like seeing different characters interacting with him. Honey coming in and doing the stuff that she's done with Phil this year. Those sort of brief moments have been great. I think that having Phil there sort of puts electricity into other characters in some ways. Sometimes, not all the time, which we'll come to with Kat in a minute. But I do like Phil. I'm sorry. I think Keeble's plan is the best place for him for me. I know Alex will disagree vehemently, but sorry, that's kind of where I'm putting him. Oh, Vinny and his tragic hair. We love Vinny. I have to say, out the Panesar kids, Vinny is now Kirat's gone. Vinny is the one that's going to step forward, I think. I love Vinny. I think he's adorable. And I like his role within the Panesars. This kind of thing that he's doing of trying to fit in and trying to sort of fit into the Panesar hierarchy is really working for his character, because I'm assuming I think he's the youngest of the Panesars, isn't he? So it's interesting to sort of see him going, I can do a business, honestly, and just sort of kind of being knocked down. The stuff when he was trying to do business with Ranveer was endearing, wasn't it? And who can't be a fan of the more stressed Vinny gets, the more messy his hair gets? I've never seen a character do that before. It's fascinating. His hair is like Sharon's eyes. Just they have their own character. It's fantastic. Sausage surprise for Vinny, I think. I'm hoping and I think he will. step forward a bit more once his Panasar story really kicks into gear. But yeah, we love Vinny, don't we? How are we doing in the comment section? Are you agreeing? Are you disagreeing? Where would you be? What mistake? How many mistakes have I made? Tell me now. Which characters would you have in Julia's theme so far? And who would you be ever having in Alfie's Panto? Tell me, what's going on? How you doing? Ash, unlike Vinny, I feel really needs some attention as a character because she's not doing a lot. There is potential in Ash, I think. Her and Suki's relationship is interesting. There's clearly a lot of resentment and anger between the two of them. I really like that to be explored a bit more. And there is a darkness to Ash, I think, somewhere that's maybe occasionally been sort of itched at, but nothing too sort of psychologically interesting going on there. Better Luck Next Year, I think, is the fairest place to put Ash. I wouldn't lose her. I'm one of these people that always believes that it takes one storyline to make a character, all right? And Ash hasn't had that moment yet. Now, the longer you leave that, the more people are inclined to go, oh, they're boring, get rid of them. Whereas I'm a bit more patient like that. You know, I just want to see Ash have her time in the spotlight. Again, like I said with Vinny, presumably the Panasar storyline will thrust her in a bit more into the spotlight, and maybe kind of we'll get to kind of see who she is and explore her a little bit more. I'd like to see that, but I think Better Luck Next Year. Oh, Vi. Oh, Vi. Bless you. Now, you're looking at literally, I think, the only person I've seen anywhere on the internet or anywhere at all who likes Vi. I do like Vi. I think she's all right. I think people give her a hard time. But admittedly, she has done absolutely nothing. And it's very odd because there was sort of like a ready-made storyline for her and Stuart and Rainey just to sort of go off together, and then we could have just sort of gone on, well, that was Vi. But they decided to keep Vi around. And thus far, Stuart and Rainey have been gone a fair few months now, and thus far, you're not seeing what the reason for keeping Vi was. She's moved into Callum's. I think she's had like 2 episode appearances since then, if that, and not done a lot else. So I'm not going to stick her in Alfie's Panto because I do like her. And like I say, one story makes a character. But I don't know what they're going to do with Vi. I hope it's something. I'd like her to do more than just sort of throw catty remarks and shouts out in the background, which I do admit occasionally. You know, she does. You know, don't tell Alex I said that though. But yeah, Better Luck Next Year for Vi, and we'll see where she is next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Vi's gone by the end of the year, to be honest with you, because she really isn't serving much of a purpose at the moment. But hopefully she'll get one. Stacey, I mean, if you need icons, I mean, take a lesson. In you go. Julia's theme. Done. Bosh. Stacey's great. Do not tell me that Stacey doesn't belong in Julia's theme because she's iconic. And I don't mean that in the sort of youthful colloquial term. She is genuinely an iconic British TV character. I adore her. Lacey Turner is a phenomenal actress, and my God, has she taught her cousin a few things. Lily is turning into a new Lacey Turner, by the way. She's one to watch. But Stacey's great, and she's really proved herself as a community character. What I would like from Stacey now is a big storyline. And obviously we're going now into a Lily story, and Stacey is delivering as much as you'd love her to. She's been a great supporting character, I think, to Jean's storyline and a few other people's storylines, but it's time for her to have her time in the spotlight. It's been a long, long time, I think, since Stacey has had a huge storyline of her own. So, and God, Lacey Turner can deliver. Lacey Turner knocks anything out of the park. You know, she asked for a Diet Coke in the Vic, and I want to give her an Oscar. She's amazing. So yeah, Julia's theme, there you go. Dana, oh dear, that went wrong, didn't it? Dana was great, wasn't she? When she first came in, she was this sweet, lovely girl. The Monroes were a great family unit. And then it all sort of went wrong. And Dana turned into a temporary sort of harlot after Peter. And then had a really nice exit. She did a lovely exit. I liked the way that she sort of solved things up with Harvey and the way she left things with Bobby. So there is potential for Dana to return at some point because there's still some characters on the square that she has some relationship with. So it'd be nice to see her again. I think I might put her in cheese and pickle sandwich. It's a shame because I did like Dana a lot and there was a lot of potential there. So hopefully she might be back one day. But yeah. Janine, have a guess. Have a guess where she's going. If you watched me ever talk about Janine, you know exactly where she's going. My favourite character of all time. And it's unchallenged. I adore Janine. I'm gutted she's gone. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be a long stint. But, you know, I hoped that we were going to have her for longer than that. But, God, I love Janine. She is just so layered and fascinating, and we did get some of that towards the end. Yes, I put my hands up and say, yeah, the first half of her tenure wasn't great. It wasn't really kind of selling her. And then the Linda and Janine rivalry was great fun to watch. Ironically, with these two sat together, I don't understand why we never got more scenes with these two, because there is so much history between Stacey and Janine, and they had like two scenes where there were sort of petty arguments going on with them and nothing else. It would have been quite nice for Stacey to sort of step forward and sort of give some advice to Linda and say, yeah, you want their lessons on how to deal with Janine, come my way. So that's a shame. I hope to God Janine is back one day. I mean, she's got a Carter baby inside her, so that's a thing. So there's potential for Janine's. I mean, there's always potential for Janine to return, and I will argue anyone else to the hill that says otherwise. But yeah, Janine, Julia's theme, iconic character, love her to pieces. Come back soon, please. Harvey. Rob, which character would you like to see return? Janine. Which character I like? Which Carol? I think I loved Carol. I really, really love Carol. I love Carol Jackson. I mean, put me on the spot here, but Carol jumps to my head immediately. I thought Carol was a fantastic character, and she really works. I don't think Lindsay Colson would be seen dead on the square ever again, unfortunately. Well, some of the interviews she's given, where she doesn't seem to even like talking about Carol. But no. Harvey, I think I might have to knock Harvey down a place from where he was last week. I really liked Harvey. He's sort of. I think it was a mistake to get rid of his kids. I'll be honest. I mean, Aaron, yes, was problematic. So Aaron is sort of not exactly the sort of character you'd keep around forever. But I do think getting rid of Dana was a mistake. But I do love his relationship with Jean. I do think that Harvey is going to be the new Charlie Slater, effectively, just sort of in the Slater brood, taxi driver, and just sort of wants to read his paper whilst all this madness goes on around him. I will stick him in Sausage Surprise because he is out of the trio of him, Mitch and Rocky, he is a bit above them in my mind. But yeah, I'd like to see Harvey do a bit more. But he's a great character. I do like Harvey. I do like Harvey a lot. Aaron, again, I mean, if you want to see wasted character potential, I don't know what the hell went on with the Extremisms storyline. Something happened, didn't it? Something happened behind the scene, because that storyline got wasted, because it was actually one of the strongest of the Johnson era, I thought. And then it kind of just fizzled away, a bit like the bomb, didn't go off. Cheese and pickle sandwich. I don't think we're ever going to see Aaron again. I'd like to see Aaron again in terms of one of those sort of villainous characters, a bit like Nick. The sort of character that can come in and cause a bit of chaos for Harvey and then leave again. But then I suppose right-wing extremism is a bit of a tricky topic to kind of keep coming backwards and forwards to. You never know. Oh God, it's Alfie. Oh Lord, what do I do with you? I have struggled with Alfie since being back. I will be honest. I really have struggled with Alfie. He works best, I think, when he isn't trying to constantly go after Kat. The thing is, the times have changed, haven't they? The times have changed since Alfie, and it's not as kind of fun to watch a man constantly badgering a woman to get back with him as it once was, I think. And that's sort of been Alfie's MO since he's been back. And him constantly running around like a 2-year-old on E-numbers is kind of slightly irritating. I'm not going to stick him in the panto, because this week especially he's endeared himself to me a little bit more. So I'm going to stick him in cheese and pickle sandwich by the skin of his teeth, but he slightly improved. Where we are, Imogen, there is so much I disagree with here. How is Aaron higher than Callum? You have a point there, to be fair. That is actually a very fair. But no, because better luck next year, because I want to see more from Callum this next year. That's why Callum is higher than Aaron. Yes. Amy, I mean, I tell you what, the kids are really slaying it this year, I think. Straight up there you go, young lady. She's been great. The self-harm storyline has been fantastic. And they're really paying attention to it, aren't they? They're really exploring the psyche of a kid that age. It's been great. It's been character development and character sort of analysis that we haven't seen on EastEnders for so long. Clenners, you are amazing. I love you. Kat has had a tricky year for me. I'm very recently, as in tonight's episode, where she basically decided to stay with Phil after everything that happened, I found really disappointing, because I don't think Kat would have done that. And the fact that she has done that means that I'm disappointed with her. Such a surprise, but then I can't stick Kat lower than Phil, surely to God. I love Kat. Oh, what do I do? I do love Kat. I do love her a lot. But I think she's been weakened under Phil. I really do. and it's a shame. I think she needs to break up with Phil, and I think she needs to sort of become her own again and have a bit more balls about her. I like it when she goes kind of when she now goes up to Phil and goes, "No, I'm Kat. You need to do what I tell you because I'm a Slater." And she brings out that inner Slater in her, which works quite well with Phil. But I think that it's always been an odd relationship. I'm amazed it's lasted this long. But yeah, Kat will work on that. Denzel, I mean, again, I thought Denzel's been great. I didn't like him when he first came in. I wasn't sure the point of him, but he has really kind of flown up the rankings for me. I'm going to stick him next to Amy. Nugget, by the way, isn't old enough to go on this list. If he was old enough, I've got to be honest, I'd be sticking Nugget in Julia's theme. And there's a reason why, because I think Nugget is a really, really interesting character. I don't know why. You know, sometimes you will look at a character and something about them just sort of sings at you. And for me, Nugget has done that. So that's where he'd be. But Denzel is great. He's working really, really well with Amy. I love his relationship with Patrick. And he's got that really awkward teenage boy thing down to a T. You know, that sort of kind of laddish, awkward. I like him a lot. I think the kids are just fantastic. I think they're great. Eve, you can go up there next to your lady friend. I think you'll find Eve is an amazing character, isn't she? What a character! What a find! She has come in and she's set the screen on fire, hasn't she? I love her. Her relationship with Suki is fascinating to watch. I'm loving that. I love her with Stacey. I love her in the Slaters. A great community character, you know, being on the van and sort of just interacting with anybody that comes her way. I think she's great. I love Eve, and long may she reign. Give the woman a duff, I say, because she hasn't had one yet. But she is fantastic. And again, much more to come for Eve this year, I think, with the build-up of the Panasar story. And her and Suki are just electric on screen. I love them. Yeah, great character. Freddie. I have to say, I have struggled with Freddie a little bit since he's been in it. There's nothing wrong with him per se, but I'm just sort of, I'm not sure what to make of him. You know, it's sort of like he's got the cheeky chappy thing down, but then he'll also get up at 5 a.m. to listen to sparrows in a reindeer onesie. You know, I sort of struggle with, I don't know what to make of him so far. He's not grabbed me immediately, I have to say. I do like his relationship with Bobby, but yeah, I'm going to have to stick him in the cheese and pickle sandwich, I think. This is a very layered sandwich. Yeah, he's not 100% grabbed me yet, I have to say. We'll wait and see, but I think he will start to come into his own a little bit more this year. Again, I want to see a bit more of him. I really want them to explore this whole thing with him, Billy, and Mo. Presumably, I don't see how that story plays out without a little Mo appearance. By the way, even if it's just a couple of episode cameo thing, I don't see how that story happens without little Mo. And hopefully, that will be coming this year. But yeah, for now, I think cheese and pickle sandwich for Freddie. Howie is a tricky one for me. He has sort of come into his own a little bit more since he's sort of been Dendel's dad and sort of had that role. With Kim, he's all right, but at the minute, he's not really doing a huge amount. He's a good father, you know, I'm enjoying that. Like I say, his relationship with Denzel is all right to watch, but as a character on his own, when he's not sort of with Kim or with Denzel, I'm not getting anything from him whatsoever. So I think cheese and pickle. I think is it? Yeah, I think cheese and pickle because I do you agree? I'm not really getting a lot of Howie so far, to be honest. I hope I get more, but I think I'll leave him there for now. Jada, what a shame she left because she's great. Minus the TikTok dancing in the car park in the park. We won't talk about that. But she came back and had a nice little moment at Christmas. And I thought, honestly, I felt Jada fitted into EastEnders like a glove. I thought just the way the actress played it was just great. You know, it just sort of slotted in really, really nicely. Yeah, I'll stick her in Keeble's plan. I did like Jada, and hopefully she'll be back at some point because I think that she worked quite nicely with Sharon as well. She worked well with Zach and Marcy. She had a few moments where it was just sort of like, "What are you doing, Jada?" Actually, yeah, I might put her down to Sausage Surprise actually. But yeah, she's a good character, and I hope she returns at some point. Keanu was an interesting surprise. I was surprised by his comeback. I mean, him and Sharon had really good chemistry on screen together. I really did like it. I don't know where to put him though. I think Sausage Surprise. Do I? I mean, I'll be yeah. I mean, compared to Cameron and Bernie, I'm more interested in him than I am those two at the moment. So yeah, I guess he has to go above them. So yeah, we'll leave him there for now. Mr. Lister. What is he doing in here? He's had 10 appearances apparently, so he's got to go on the list. I mean, I don't know. Where do you put Mr. Lister? I mean, he's fun. He's all right. I mean, I can't put him any higher than he just comes in, does his thing, and then leaves again, doesn't he? He's fun. He provides a few smiles. But other than that, cheese and pickle. I mean, to be fair, Mr. Lister's been in it a fair while. So he's been in it since the noughties, sort of on and off. And I'll leave him there for now, but he's all right. Nothing wrong with Mr. Lister. Nina was a hilarious camp queen, so she's going at least there. I mean, she was ridiculous. She just sort of did her thing and then just left again, didn't she? But she was hilarious. I hope she's back because her thing with Ravi and just the evil mwahaha thing, there was nothing else to her. Let's not pretend otherwise, all right? There was nothing else to Nina apart from being an evil sort of mastermind character amongst this insane plan that she had with Ravi to kind of steal Ranveer's money and then run away again, which is basically what she's done, I assume, because I don't know what's happened to Ranveer's money. I'm assuming Nina has it. And you know what? I'm quite happy with that conclusion for her. Fair play. You've earned it. Is Keeble's plan a little bit high for Nina, I think, just in terms of... But I did like her. I think Sausage Surprise. I did like Nina. I hope she returns at some point, because I'd like to see this Panasar plot sort of play out a little bit more. There's more to the Panasar plot. There's more secrets in there. So I think Nina should be quite instrumental in that. She reminds me, actually, of Susie Branning in a lot of ways. You know, this kind of ultra-camp sort of woman. And when I say camp, I mean just sort of quite just sort of really kind of flamboyant almost, and sort of kind of quite extreme in her character, which is great fun to watch. But yeah, I hope she's back soon. Nish, one of the most awaited characters to come in many a year. I think straight into Keeble's plan. And when I say the Keeble's plan, you know, there's scribings of Archie about him. Definitely, I think he screams who done it. I'll be honest. I think there is some point going to be a plot where I was going to call him Archie there, where Nish is murdered, and it's going to be a mystery as to which of the Panasars has done it. And I await that with great interest because he is interesting, and I think there's a lot more to explore with Nish and his relationship with Suki and his role within the Panasar family. So yeah, bring Nish on. I think he's great. Ravi, again, good character, interesting. Has lost a little bit since Nina left for me, I'll be honest. I think he's been quiet. He has been quiet for a little while the Panasars have kind of calmed down. So maybe you kind of forget about him for a little while. But I'll stick him with Sausage Surprise for now because I think there's more to Ravi that we'll explore this year. But yeah, I do like him, and my God, his arms. If he could hold me up in his arms, I would let him. Swore. Linda has been fantastic this year, I think. Her rivalry with Janine has been great. And it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm sticking her in Julia's theme. Fight me. And it's going to be interesting to see sort of where she goes from here. Apparently, there are massive, huge, massive plans for Linda moving forward, including a storyline that has never been done before on EastEnders. Make what you will of that. But yeah, I think she's great. Linda is amazing, and Kelly Bright plays it to perfection. Her rivalry with Janine was great. So yeah, we'll see what happens to Linda in the future. Richie, oh, I love Richie. Keeper's plan, I think, for you. I mean, Richie's great. She kind of comes in and just sort of does her thing and then sort of leaves again. But I always get really excited when I see Richie because I just think it's I think Sean Weber, I think the actress is called Sean somebody or other, is great, and she plays that role really nicely. I'd love for Richie to have a sort of bigger role. So I tell you what, Richie's best ever era was when it was during the Who Killed Lucy story, when her, Marsden, and Keeble were sort of at loggerheads, and they used to have whole scenes together. Bring back that sort of era for Richie because I love her. And as for Keeble, who's next, again, I've really enjoyed having her back. The plot kind of went a little bit skew-whiff towards the end, but I really loved having her back. Her walking into that police interrogation room the first time was fantastic. It was a great shot, great surprise. And Alison Newman is great, and I hope she comes back because she's a slightly balmy character, but I've really enjoyed the fact that she came back, and then it gave us the flashback episode was great. I am a huge fan of Keeble, so yeah, stick her in Keeble's plan where she belongs. Sam has been a great return. I've really enjoyed Sam back, and I love her sort of role of trying to establish herself back in Phil's good books. Sort of within the Mitchell hierarchy. She's working really well there. So I think he was planned for Sam. I'm a big fan of the Sam. Big fan of the Sam and the plan. Yeah, so there we go. Kim Metcalf's been great as well. So yeah, Sam's proper cemented herself back into the square. I think I'm excited. Finley. See now, Finley. What we got? What have we had from Finley so far? We've been established that he is a bit of a ladies' man, and he's slept with one woman, Dottie. Was it Dottie he slept with? Yeah, it was Dottie, wasn't it? And that's literally been about it. I kind of thought that his relationship with I like his relationship with Felix, and I do like that him, Felix, Whitney, and Chelsea are sort of living together. Not a huge amount's been done with it so far, but there is nothing to Finley yet. Again, I'm not going to say, oh, well, get rid of him then. I'm just going to say better luck next year. But at the moment, I am probably less interested in him than I am Felix, who I'm going to stick next to his brother. But the thing is with Felix, when he came in and we had that story where Avery was telling us about how he revealed himself as Tara Masu and sort of did that thing. And I thought, well, what an interesting story. What a shame that all happened off screen before we even knew Felix. That would have been a great story to introduce Felix to the square and really sort of show us what it's like in the sort of drag community and him learning about the drag community and teaching us about the drag community. And now all we really have is kind of Felix kind of walking into scenes dressed as Tara and being all dramatic and flamboyant and not anything else really. I want the brothers to kind of have their scenes. Now, I mean, the pair of them are Clem's creations, so presumably he's got plans for them. So hopefully we'll start to see them in 2023 moving forwards. Fingers crossed, I hope. Gray, goodbye. See you later. I mean, oh my lord. Gray honestly aged me. Rose my blood pressure up to uncomfortable levels. I hated his storyline by the end. I mean, I would quite comfortably say that Gray was great. The Gray storyline, domestic violence storyline, was fine and did really well. And I thought killing Chantel was one of the bravest moves I've seen in the soap. I thought that was fantastic. And then from there, my God, what happened? It turned into, I think, probably the worst story EastEnders has ever done. And that's a big statement to say, but nah, that was not good. That was not good. I mean, his final week was great, actually. I really enjoyed his final week. But I mean, so half of that probably was because I knew that the story was ending. But it was an exciting final week, and I enjoyed that. But honestly, it was a struggle. He killed off characters that he didn't need to. He killed off characters that more felt like he was killing off characters that weren't necessarily involved in the story, but just they needed to get rid of the character. So they just chose to thrust them into the Grey storyline. It didn't work. It was awful. So Alfie's panto for Gray, and never he be mentioned again, I'm afraid. Whitney does Whitney, and I do love Whitney. Keeper's plan? No, yes, no, yes. I like her with Zach. I mean, Whitney is a great character. Shona is amazing singing voice. I'm glad that we're not still talking about her being an international pop star. But such is price for Whitney. I think again, there's a huge. If you look at the storyline that Zach has coming up, that will heavily involve Whitney. So a huge year for Whitney coming up again. But Shona's good enough to deserve another year. So yeah, but Whitney's great and will be one to watch in the coming year because I think she will deliver some great performances with this storyline. And finally, Kathy. Now, all of applause for Alex for not sticking her straight into Julia's thing just because she's Kathy, which I don't know if I did with any characters, but hey. Kathy is Kathy, isn't she? She's marvellous. She doesn't get a huge amount to do. I wanted to have her own big story, but I think she's great. I love Kathy. Gillian is just amazing, but in terms of the character and what she has done so far this year, I think Sausage Surprise is fair. She is a good character, great community character, probably the best community character. She's got so much history within her. She's marvelous and never ages. Hasn't aged a day since 1980. We all want some of Kathy's cream on our faces, don't we? Yeah. So there we are then. That is my tier list. I mean, look at it. That's fair, I think. I mean, let me hang on a minute. This is where it all Am I still on? Am I still on? I'm going to pretend. I think I imagine I'm still on, aren't I? Oh, I am still on. Whoa, good job I didn't swear. Right. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for dealing with the technical issues at the start. And please do post your own tier list on any of the Walford Weekly sites. We